So let's welcome our first speaker, Mr. Cleary. So he's going to present about how to use email outbound marketing to increase traffic, sales, and authority. So to we can share a few words about Cleary. Cleary is a founder of RazorSocial and digital strategies with a strong passion for technology. He has a deep knowledge of social media and content marketing and is considered one of the top marketing influencers in his field. He is also co-founder of Outreach Plus, which is email outreach software. Besides his work on RazorSocial, he regularly contributes to Entrepreneur.com and Forbes. He also been featured in major industry publications including VentureBeat, New York Times, Fox News, Huffington Post, and many more, and is highly sought after conference speaker and consultant, ranking consistently among the top 50 content marketing and social media influencer in this world. To know more, we have Mr. Cleary, founder and keynote speaker, to give his opinion on how to use email outbound marketing to increase traffic, sales, and authority. Mr. Cleary, the stage is yours, please.
So what I want to talk about is using email outreach to build traffic, sales, and authority. And thank you very much for that lovely introduction. As I said, I have two sides of the business. We do have email outreach software called Outreach Plus, and I run a content marketing and digital agency called RazorSocial, and that's where I've built up a good audience there, where I do a lot of inbound through that, and I do outbound through the email outreach software. So the first thing to say is, what do you focus on, inbound or outbound? It's not actually either or. You should focus on both. So I was known as an inbound marketer where I built a lot of traffic to RazorSocial, but a lot of that was done through outbound. And this is particularly important when you're starting a business or with your early days of your site. You have to do more outreach until somebody gets to know your brand. And then as they get to know your brand, you will automatically get some inbound traffic, but still continue on with outbound. Reaching out to promote your content, to generate links, reaching out to journalists. There's so many different ways, but you have to do inbound and outbound. It's not a case of either or. Now, one of the things with outbound is we look at how do we build links to our software, because our links to our website. If we get good, valuable links, that's going to help increase our authority, and that's going to drive some traffic. BuzzSumo done research recently and said over 70% of 100 million articles reviewed had no links, which is crazy because one of the most important things of getting traffic is getting links from external sites. Now, the good news is for your business is that if you got links, well, then you're automatically at an advantage because you'll be one of the 30% of articles or pages on your website that's generating links. Because you want to build your authority score. As you build your authority score, it just becomes easier to rank for content on Google. So you're looking at each individual web page is achieving a score based on, well, one of the factors is the number of links into each individual website or web page. When you more or less average them and add them all together and average it out, that's going to give you the authority score for your website. So you're constantly trying to build really good quality content to build links so that you can build your authority. And to build those links, you generally have to do some outreach, outbound marketing. So I'm going to talk about just some practical examples of building links to your content. So the first one is, it's really important to consider the type of content you create if you want to get links. And here's an example of a great piece of content, which is done by Andy Crestodino from Orbit Media Studios. If you don't follow Andy, you should definitely follow him. He writes amazing articles. He does an annual research report of bloggers. Now, this is perfect type of content to get links. What you need to do is figure out who is linking to similar research reports, and then reach out to them and just tell them about this research report. They've already linked to similar reports, So there's no reason why they wouldn't be interested in this. So they've showed that they're interested in publishing research. You can get so many links. Like if I look at Andy's site, Andy's page for this piece of content, I'm looking at SEMrush, a tool which shows me the links, and I see there's actually 167 referring domains with a total of 984 backlinks. So this is super beneficial for this web page and for the website overall, because you're getting a lot of links. If you just write a normal blog post, will you get 984 backlinks? I don't think so. And the beauty about doing a research report is you can publish it every single year and then reach out to the audience again with the updated research report and get new, fresh links and keep on building on the links and shares to a piece of content. So you would take this and build a list of people that have linked to similar content, and you can use SEMrush or Ahrefs. Find people who link to similar content and then do outreach over email and say, hey, I've got a new piece of content. Involving influencers is another great way of generating good quality links. So this is an example article from Shane Barker, who talks about 82 experts share their favorite influencer marketing tips. So you build a list of influencers. You might use an email outreach tool to reach out to those influencers, and you can automatically schedule a follow-on email if they don't respond, and then to get their tips and include in your blog post. Now, the advantage of using an email outreach tool instead of an email marketing tool is that you're sending directly from your Gmail account. So the tool would integrate with Gmail or Outlook and automatically send it so it appears like a personal email. So you get very high delivery rates, and then you can specify your follow-on emails again. Now, number 3, link building. Watch out for sites that are closing down. Particularly in our industry, in digital marketing industry, quite often we see sites closing down. This is a great link building opportunity. Like recently, Clout shut down, and Clout have hundreds of thousands of links. They're all broken links. So people are linking to Clout and the site is not valid anymore. So it's very easy to reach out to this group and say, hey, I see you had a broken link here. Here's an alternative article. And that's always a good way of getting good quality links as well. Again, it's outbound marketing. It's about being more proactive with your marketing. You can see here from a look from SEMrush, which there are 2 tools I'd recommend, SEMrush and Ahrefs. Great for link building tools and analyzing links. This has over 4 million backlinks, so lots of potential to get links from this domain. Another good tactic is guest posting on authority blogs. So reaching out and finding authority blogs that have a high domain authority and writing guest content. So typically what I'll do is I'll write a pillar piece of content, which is a long, detailed piece of content, including many different subtopics. And then I'll write related content on my own site, linking to that pillar piece of content. But then what I'll do is I'll start reaching out to other sites and doing link building and write an article linking back to your content. So now these are all high authority sites. They don't necessarily have to be that level of authority. If your name is not well known and it's hard to write for these sites, pick smaller sites. But what I'm always looking to do is write an article on these sites that's related to my pillar piece of content, which is the piece of content I really want to rank for, and then I have a good excuse to link back to them. Okay, so how strong is your website? This is a free tool developed by HubSpot. This is another great tactic which is really underutilized to actually generate links. So it takes a little bit more effort, but you'll get a lot more links. So instead of just building a blog post, create a free tool, something really useful and valuable for your audience. Sometimes it's, a piece of functionality. If you have software, it might be a free piece of functionality related to software. Or if you have a consultancy, it could be an assessment tool. But these tools get really good links, and it's a really good way of promoting yourself, reaching out to people and say, hey, here's some links here, or here's some free tool or a free assessment tool, and you'll get good links and you'll also get good leads as well. So if you look at this tool, was developed by HubSpot, and HubSpot, when they developed it, they got tens of thousands of links to this tool, and they also got tens of thousands of leads as well. So don't think about sometimes a smaller piece of content. Think about sometimes the bigger piece of content. You can see here the trend where we're link building. We're trying to look at something valuable when we're reaching out for links. What can we provide that's really valuable? Like a research report is valuable. Fixing broken links on a website is valuable. Doing this useful utility or tool is also valuable as well. Number 6, find lists that you should be on. So when we recently launched Outreach Plus, we reached out to a lot of different resources, trying to get links added on to resources. And quite often people will add your link on if it's relevant, and you send a nice personal email to somebody, they'll add the link on, and this is useful, valuable links. So you're looking for articles that are resource lists that are ranking for keywords that are important to you. So in our case, this was ranking for influencer outreach. So when people search influencer outreach, they see our tool and come back to our site. So that's another good, useful tactic as well. Number 7, find websites linking to multiple competitors. So imagine if you had like 3 or 4 competitors, and you go to SEMrush, so the tool I talked about, and with SEMrush, what you can do is go into that and put in the 3 or 4 competitors. Now what it's going to show you is what sites are linking to at least one of those competitors. Now what you want to see is ideally sites that are linking to 2, 3, or 4 of the competitors. If somebody is linking to 4 of your competitors, well then why aren't they linking to you? So they should be linking to you as well. So it's important to see, are they actually linking to you? If they're not linking to you, then there's a good reason to reach out to them. And sometimes you're reaching out and just say, hey, I see you did articles about my 3 competitors here. I just thought to let you know about my services, so at least they know. If they don't know about you, they can't write about you. So that'd be the first step. Generally, in my first outreach email, I'm looking to get a response. So I'm looking to get a yes or a maybe. So you might ask a question, say, would you be interested in hearing more about our company? Nice, soft, gentle question, not being very pushy, just really to get an interaction back. So this is a very useful tool, and it's available actually in Ahrefs as well. In Ahrefs, it's called a link, it's the intersect tool, a link intersect tool, and you'll just see, yeah, it's like many times these sites link to your competitors, and many times they link to multiple competitors. So then reaching out so that's one tactic for when you're doing outbound marketing, is reaching out and generating links to your content. There's plenty of other tactics as well for reaching out, like for example, reaching out just to journalists to get more PR. We showed you there reaching out to guest posts as well, doing guest posting, but also think about reaching out to generate sales. Now, when you're generating sales, again, when you're reaching out, your first email should not be, hey, here's my product, do you want to buy it? It could be that you have some valuable piece of content, and if they're interested in the content, then maybe they might be interested in your product. So coming up with a valuable, useful piece of content that's related to your product or service could be a good way of starting that conversation. I seen a guy earlier on today send a cold email to me saying, hey, do you want to join this Facebook group? And it was directly relevant to what I did. So that was something I was interested in. And then once they're in the Facebook group, then they're thinking of, okay, can we generate sales from that? So when you're reaching out for sales, you have to initially define your target audience. Who is it that you really need to reach out to? Because it's important to do a lot of that work up front. So you do investigation and analysis up front before you do any outreach. If you don't have your target audience defined well, then you're in trouble. You will not get good response. The second is build your prospect list. Now, I'd strongly advise initially to build your prospect list yourself. So because you need to figure out, is this working when I'm reaching out? Once you do your initial building of the prospect list, then you can start outsourcing it and get somebody else to do it. So you can outsource it by just hiring somebody yourself. You could there's a service called Task Drive. If you go to taskdrive.com, they provide people that will help build that prospect list. And number 3, then you want to send your outreach emails. So typically these are the type of tools we'd use for outreach. Sales Navigator is a great tool for finding good opportunities and good leads of people. So I take it from Sales Navigator and I export it, the information. Then I would use Hunter to find email addresses. So Hunter just finds email addresses. And I do that on the list. And then I'd use Zero Bounce. So when Hunter finds emails, sometimes the emails might bounce. And you want to reduce that as much as possible. So I go to Hunter, and then when I get the emails, I do a final check with Zero Bounce. And Zero Bounce will tell me pretty accurately, will these emails bounce or not? And generally, it's like a 98% accuracy. It's very hard to get 100%. You'll get 90%. And once you have that list, then you go into Outreach Plus, and then you can start your outreach. So you need to build up the tools and build up the process. But once you've got the process in place, then it gets very easy. Because now it's just like getting somebody maybe to build the list and then import into Outreach Plus, and off you go. So once you've built your prospect list, or say for link building or for generating sales, now you want to start thinking about actually reaching out. So you're going to reach out to people. So the biggest problem with outreach is that if you just open up a Gmail client, in an Excel spreadsheet, you can do your outreach. But it takes up too much time. You get low response and low conversion rates. And it's very difficult to track. And one of my problems always was I forget to follow up. It's tedious going back and say, hey, follow up in a few days, certain responses. So you need to be able to track all that as much as possible. And the difference then between an email outreach tool and email marketing tool is the email marketing tool is perfect for sending one email to 1,000 people, the exact same email to 1,000 people, and you're not looking for responses, But with an email outreach tool, we're actually preparing your emails, sending it through your normal Gmail client, and making sure it's really highly personalized with, like, for example, the name of the person, the interest of the person, the occupation of the person. You can have like 10 different personalization fields within it. So then when you're sending it out, it comes as an individual personal email and highly personalized. And then when you get the response, then you're encouraging a response, then you manage it within the inbox. And it's much easier, then you're able to track. So the thing about it as well, when you do outreach, it's an ongoing process. So like Andy's research report, if he does the outreach this year, then he can come back to the tool and go, oh, hey, I'll just resend all those emails next year again. Whereas if you do it manually, then you don't have all that information, so it just takes longer every time you do outreach. And with an outreach tool, you're tracking everything, so you can start building lists of people that you reached out to before. Now, that was one of the reasons we built Outreach Plus. Was it was challenging for us. We couldn't find a cost-effective, good tool that we could use for outreach, so we built our own tool called Outreach Plus. And I just want to show you a couple of screens in this. So, and if you're using any outreach tool, you're going to have something similar to this. So first of all, you start off and you build a campaign. You decide, well, what type of campaign is running? Is it influencer marketing? Is it for link building, lead generation, content promotion? What is the type of campaign? Then what you do is you add your prospects. So you've got somebody, or like Task Drive or an external resource, or somebody in your team to build the prospects. You just import them into the prospect section here. When you import them, you'll map first name to first name, last name to last name. Now you're ready to prepare your emails. Now, when you import here, a database is created, or this is all added to a database. So it tracks every single outreach to every single person and all the different emails and everything. Then you create your emails and your follow-up sequence. So you create your first email and sending out to the person, depending what this is. A lot of times in the subject line, we would cover, we would put the first name, or we'd say maybe our company name and their company name. And we find we're getting like a 70 to 80% open rate when they're in that. Now you can see with an email marketing tool, you might be lucky to get 20, 25%. Whereas here I'm expecting 70, 75% open rate. So I send a first personal email. The next email I create, I say, hey, send this 5 days later. And what I'm saying is only send this if somebody doesn't respond. And then I'll create a third email, and again, I'll only send this if somebody doesn't respond to the email. So I'll build out all my email sequences there. And then once I have all those sequences and follow-up emails created, I'll add in all my merge codes, so my first name, last name, company name, to make sure this is a very personal email. And then at that stage, I'm ready to send. And once I send it out, then I can start tracking how many were sent, how many were opened, how many were applied, how many clicked the links on it, so I can see exactly what's happening as we outreach. So you can see this outreach and outbound marketing is a process that you follow. And this shows me the opened, replied, and clicked in green. And then when you get the responses, you can come into the inbox, which is specific to outreach. I can do a filter based on a campaign. I can do a filter based on who's sending the emails, so I can send it from multiple emails. And then I can respond, and everything is tracked within this. So no matter what tool you use, and there's a variety of tools available, you definitely need an outreach tool, and they're not that expensive anymore, because this is going to save you so much time, deliver you better results, and you'll just end up with more leads and more links. This just gives you a dashboard overview showing your performance of all the different campaigns you've done. So using an outbound marketing tool, it dramatically reduces on the time required. So with the cost of a tool, if you save an hour a month, that's worth it. But you'll save an awful lot more than that. You get much higher response and conversion rates because you're sending a much more personalized email directly through an email account. It comes as a personal email. And this is very, very easy to track. Now, just in case if anybody's interested in having a look at Outreach Plus, if you go to outreachplus.com and you go pricing and then you go onto the checkout page, you'll see an option for a discount. Now this is specific to you guys, so please don't share this. It's save 20. So anybody's on the call can put in save 20 as the coupon code, and you get 20% off all plans. This is on outreachplus.com. Highly recommended by people like Brian Dean, saying, it's a really awesome outreach tool. Brian Dean, if you don't follow me, is an excellent SEO guy from Backlink.O. So thank you very much. I hope you see the potential of outbound marketing, particularly using email. There's huge potential. And the thing about it is, think about how you can provide value. And with your very first email, you're trying to create a conversation. You want somebody to respond in the first email. If you use too many of the same templates that everybody uses, your response rates are lower. So it's better off come up with original email and send that original email, make it highly personalized, and then send it to a lot of people. Build out your process to build that prospect list. And once you have that good process in place, you'll start seeing results daily. Still keep going with your online inbound marketing.
Yeah, thanks for your nice presentation.
So that's my presentation
from your end, Mr. Cleary, and for giving us such a notable information from your end in a GDMS 2.